There was a couple of really interesting notes coming out of skate today, Liam, but here is sort of the Coles notes on the blue line. Chris Knobloch says they have not given much thought to Darnell Nurse not playing in the next game. He did not skate today. He obviously barely played in game 3. There is something bothering Nurse, but they're going to roll him back out for the third game of this series. What do you make of that? What did you make of Nurse's absence? And if he's at 75, 80%, is he still better than the alternative, which I guess would be dressing Cody Ceci?
Yes, he is still better than Cody Ceci. I mean, look, like we all say and criticize Nurse, some good, some bad, whatever it may be, but like he's a valuable member to this team and you need him in the lineup. He's better than what you have outside of the lineup right now. So not having him would really, really suck. And I think you kind of felt his absence a little bit last game. Like Evan Bouchard played 30 minutes, and I know he's been there before, but he kind of struggled in many ways. There was a lot of turnovers. The one that led to the Evan Rodriguez goal was straight off Bouchard. You know, he's in spots that he played a little bit more on the penalty kill than he would have, and it led to another goal. So just a tough night for Bush, and that's kind of the spots where it's like, okay, if Nurse can take 3 minutes off Bouchard, 2 minutes, whatever it may be, take those penalty killing shifts. Like you need a guy out there, and also Philip Broberg, as great as he's been, I don't know if I want him on the penalty kill all the time. You know what I mean? You're really limited with what you have if you don't have Nurse.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sitting. I'm throwing him out there until the wheels fall off because again, we saw in Dallas when he started to play better hockey, the results started to change for the Oilers, and I don't think that's much of a coincidence. Up in the forward group, okay, Chris Knobloch says Corey Perry is very likely to come back. When you look at the way the forward group was laid out today at Oilers skate, that kind of leaves you with more questions than answers. This from our guy Zach Lang. Top line is staying the same with Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman. Second line is McLeod on the wing with Draisaitl and Holloway. We both are on the same page of liking the results of McLeod with Draisaitl. I like Holloway there more than Foegele because just flat out, Foegele doesn't deserve to move up the lineup. So Mulek, I see you said it's weird. I think this is the right call, man. You need to get some speed going against his Panthers team. Draisaitl likes playing with McLeod, and they work well together. Holloway's been excellent. I like it. The third line, Henrique with Janmark and Brown. I also think that's the right decision. Like, play the guys who are moving well and getting in the mix. I thought Connor Brown was good again in game 2 of this series. Matthias Janmark's been consistent. And, hey, Rico's got a breakaway in game 1. He's been dependable in the faceoff dot for the most part in these playoffs. I like that third line. Now, here's the really difficult part. Foegele, Carrick/Ryan, and Perry. Evander Kane didn't take line rushes. Evander Kane had a 5-minute conversation with Chris Knobloch at morning skate and then was gone down the tunnel and didn't practice again. He only ended up playing, I'm just double checking his 5v5 numbers from last game. He played 8 minutes at 5-on-5. The only Oilers who played less were McLeod, Carrick, Nurse, and Foegele. And in fact, if you go a step further than that, only 5 Oilers played fewer than Evander Kane at all strengths. 2 of them were injured, or one of them was kicked out. One of them was injured and basically left the game. This to me makes it feel like Evander Kane's not good to go.
Yeah. He came out, one other note, when he did come out on the ice, he was wearing a white top 6 jersey. So whatever that kind of leads to. But I mean, look, like Evander Kane is a valuable part of this team again, especially with the way game 2 went with the physicality. Like, he's a guy you probably need out there for a game 3, but he's just not healthy right now. And look, like the Oilers are obviously in a tough spot being down 2-0, but it's not do or die yet.
Yeah, no, tomorrow's do or die.
Well, it's not technically because you should still have a 4th game. So I'm just saying, like, if he didn't play, at least you would have that next game be like, hey, healthy Evander Kane, his team is still, you have guys who are familiar with playing everyone. Like Ryan McLeod turns into a different player when he plays in the top 6. So that's one thing to consider. But honestly, I think he'll play. I got a feeling he'll play. He's just what they're going to do. They're not going to let these guys aren't going to sit out games.
To me, like, I don't think Chris Knobloch has much of a reason to be lying or bluffing with what his line combos are at this point. And if you want to flash him up again, AB for Boston Pizza here, if Kane's playing and Kane was in top 6 white, are they really going to at the last second? And hey, maybe it's health dependent. Maybe it's how Kane's going to feel tomorrow morning, and they wanted to get ahead of it by playing McLeod up there so he can have a practice with Draisaitl to start getting, a little bit of that comfortability back. But to me, this is a signal Kane's less likely to play than not, because if he was likely to be in the lineup, I think they would have had a placeholder up there like they've done for most of these playoffs. Now, the other option is maybe they think Kane is close to being able to good to go, or maybe they think, all right, he can give us 10 really good minutes, but we can't push him for any more than that. And he's going to take Fogel's spot on the fourth line. They're going to run with Kane, Blank, and Perry, and they're going to double shift McDavid and Draisaitl in there. I think that is a very real possibility heading into that game tomorrow. If Kane can go, you take out Fogel, and you're basically not going to play whoever your 4C is, or you're just going to use them to win the odd face-off for you at different points, and you're going to go with a not 11-7 approach, but you're going to go with a 11-6 approach, you'd call it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me too. But there's one other thing that's just kind of driving me nuts about this lineup. Corey Perry should not be playing. And I think Derek Ryan should take his spot. You go your fourth line of Carrick and Ryan and whoever you want to put there. Like, what is the difference? Perry cannot skate anymore. He's basically bringing nothing to the team. At least Derek Ryan, you can have him on the penalty kill. He's a valuable asset there. He's good in the dot. And you have that home ice advantage now as well, where it's okay, we're going to put Carrick and Ryan and whoever the other guy is on that line, put him out there for an offensive zone draw, defensive zone draw. One of them gets kicked. So, okay, we've got the other right-handed face-off guy out there too. So I would do that. Perry, for me, should not be around this team right now. We talk about how Sam Gagner isn't quick enough anymore to play, and granted, it's been a long time since he's played a game, never mind an NHL game, but Perry and Gagner for me are basically the exact same player, except Gagner is, everyone loves him, and everyone loves Perry, don't get me wrong, but like different vibes.
Yeah, I want to get into a few of our takes over in the YouTube chat. So that's your lineup for BP. Zach or Cam will be swinging by in a little bit to break it down more with us. But let's get into the Charm Diamond Center's YouTube chat, charmdiamondcenters.com, where you can get a custom ring built and delivered in less than 4 weeks through Charm and their Masterpiece program, proudly Canadian owned and operated. Let's get into things here. Mulek says in all caps, give me Gagner. And I think there would even be, we've heard how much this group in the room, like you were alluding to, loves Sam Gagner. I think they're going to get a massive emotional boost from just being on home ice for game 3 of this series. But at the same time, I think if you really wanted to fire up the guys, you have Sam Gagner in that lineup. And I think it might give them an even bigger boost. Do they need it for game 3? How much do you value that over just playing the right players? I don't know. But like you kind of said, I don't think Perry has done anything to make you really go, he does deserve another look. Like, he's had second and third chances now and hasn't made the most of them. So I think I agree with Mulek. I think I would go with a Sam Gagner. Davin says, God, I hope Kane sits. If he sits, it's injury related. It's not play related. Fighting Sioux Hockey, bench McLeod if he's not willing to take a hit to make a play. Put Lavoie or Gagner in. I saw a little bit of put Lavoie in the lineup. Liam, you were at morning skates with me in Florida. He's not even a black ace. Like, he's not skating with the team on game days. The guys who are, I think we identified Lane Peterson the one morning, and then it's like Gagner
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. So
It's
there
basically
is,
Gleason and Gagner and Kemp are like the only guys who are skating.
yeah. And then whoever the healthy scratches are between like Ryan, Carrick, and Perry. Like, those are the guys who are skating as the extras. So don't hold your breath on Lavoie. Way more likely of a chance that you end up getting a guy like Gagner in the lineup. But even that I recognize as being slim, slim, slim. Steven is in and says, how sad is it that no one on our farm team, we have no one on our farm team that can contribute even as a fourth line option? Okay, so I wrote a new piece up at Oilersnation.com where I talked about the impact of the Bakersfield Condors on this team. Aaron, can you flash up the lines again? Like, the idea that the Oilers don't have anything from their farm team. Look at this lineup and look at how many of these guys came through the Bakersfield Condors pipeline. Dylan Holloway spent a lot of time there this year developing. Philip Broberg has stepped into the lineup as a developing option who is now contributing. Vinny Desharnais is a great example of that, and I highlighted it in the story. Bouchard spent time down in the American League. Janmark spent time as an Oiler down in the AHL. Keep going through the list. Holloway, Draisaitl was technically there for a bit. McLeod is a guy who's homegrown and developed there. The Oilers have more homegrown talent on this team than Florida has on theirs. So some idea that, the AHL pipeline or the Oilers development process is letting them down, I don't think that is true at all.
And also, every single person in this chat complained when Dylan Holloway is playing on the fourth line. So now you're talking about, oh, they don't have anyone contributing down there. It's like, give him a break. Like, what do you want? Like, if it was the fourth line guys, they'd also be like, how did Ken Holland not go and get the experience to help us in the playoffs? Because you know who isn't going to help the Oilers in game 3? Raphael Lavoie.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.